Call the meeting to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Invocation today is offered by Commissioner Zinner.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for your steadfast love for everyone. Please forgive us for our sins. Thank you for allowing us to work with others in our county government and our dear staff. Thank you for the people on this board this past 2 years and the ability for us to serve the citizens as we have been able to do. Please bless us today and for the rest of our term. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Zinner. Next item is item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support by Nara.
Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 10-0.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5 is approval of the minutes dated September 15th, 2022. Need a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved, Paul.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion on those minutes or corrections? Hearing none, please vote.
Motion passes 11-0.
Very good. Item 6, public participation. This opportunity for the public to speak in any item on the agenda today. You have 3 minutes to speak. At the end of the agenda, you have an opportunity to speak again on any subject you wish for the same amount of time. So anyone from the public today wishes to be heard? Anyone from the public wishes to be heard? Please come up and you have 3 minutes. State your name for the record so we have it, please, and you can proceed.
Hi, my name is Monica Troniak, and I am a resident of Roseville. So hello to my commissioner, Mr. Howe. Today, I would just like to ask that when there are things that you vote on, proposals that you vote on that occur with large amounts of money, that you, perhaps when you offer it as a proposal to be voted on, that you can give just a little bit of information about what the proposal is about. I watch a lot of the videos, and they have the proposals like at the top of the screen and then the voting, which is very, very helpful. But sometimes I watch it and I'm like, I do not know what that is about. So particularly today, when you reach number 13, concerning 13D, concerning the contract with MDOT, the fiber optic cable, my understanding is that 12 Mile is included with that. And so I'm not really understanding the purpose of that cable and why there's the contract, but I am very happy to see that the small amount will be, charged to the county. But a little bit of information when there are proposals and voting, that would be very helpful to myself and perhaps anybody else who watches the videos. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else want to be heard under public participation? One more time, anything on the agenda? One last time. Seeing none, we'll close public participation. We'll go on to the item 7, proclamations, 7A. Got a proclamation commending Patrick Daniels for his service to the Veterans Affairs Commission. I need a motion to adopt this agenda.
So moved, Paul.
Support.
Very good. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to present this to you, Pat. Whereas Macomb County Board of Commissioners would like to commend Patrick Daniels for his 20 years of dedicated public service to the Macomb County Veterans Affairs Commission and for serving as chair of that commission for 15 of those years. Whereas during his tenure, Patrick Daniels made significant contributions to our veterans and was a crucial proponent in making Macomb County Veterans Services Office the best in the state. Whereas Patrick Daniels led the commission in reviewing approximately 2,000 cases, and due to his efforts that substantially changed the Veterans Relief Fund occurred. These changes include extending the eligibility for relief fund and increasing reimbursement amounts and asset limitation. These changes allowed greater number of veterans to become eligible and also increase the amount for each veteran that each veteran receives. Whereas in addition to his contributions with the Macomb County Veterans Affairs Commission, Patrick Daniels worked to impact Clinton Township's Vietnam Veterans Services Office, Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 154 to be specific, of which he founded and serves as one of the chapter's charter members. He also serves as treasurer of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association of Michigan, Chapter 35-3. And whereas Patrick Daniels' long legacy of support for his fellow veterans includes raising considerable donations for various veterans associations throughout Macomb County. Each year, he organizes a highly popular and well-attended Memorial Ride for Freedom event, which raises significant amounts of funding, which are donated to Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Detroit, as well as the Fisher House Foundation. Whereas Patrick Daniels has helped county veterans for 50 years, unselfishly giving his time and energy and undaunted efforts to Macomb County's large and growing community of veterans in need. As a veteran himself, Patrick Daniels serves his community each and every day as a compassionate and empathetic advocate for our county's veterans. Whereas due to his impressive dedication to the veterans community, Patrick Daniels was awarded Macomb County's Board of Commissioners' inaugural Veteran of the Year Award, which led to the award being named as the Pat Daniels Veterans of the Year Award as a continual honor to him. Whereas it is fitting and proper that Pat Daniels, a man of high integrity and valor, be recognized by this board for his important contributions he's made as chair and member of the Veterans Commission. Patrick Daniels is a man dedicated to veterans who lives by his own words. The only thing we owe to veterans of this country is everything. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of Commissioners, speaking for and on behalf of all the county residents, offers as follows. But by these presents, the Macomb County Board of Commissioners hereby publicly commends Patrick Daniels for his service on the Veterans Affairs Commission. Be it further proclaimed that a suitable copy of this presentation be presented to Patrick Daniels as testimony to the high esteem in which he is held by the Macomb County Board of Commissioners on behalf of all the people of the county. So on that, I will present back this resolution. Pat, there was so much on the resolution, I had to sit there and make sure I read it every word right. And I wouldn't want to make sure I get it right for you. You're definitely a man worthy of a recognition, and we want to give you this presentation. It's basically the same verbiage I just read to you on this plaque here, so.
You want to go first?
Without the support of the commissioners of the last 20 years and allowing us to do the things we needed to do to make it the best in the state, without your support, none of that would have happened. And I'm most grateful, especially to those that have been around forever like me, but and the ones that are new to the commission. We thank you for buying into our stuff and letting us do what we needed to do to take care of the veterans of the county. And again, I'm just going to Florida, so I could come back.
Well, you're welcome, always welcome here. Thank you, Pat. People lead by example, Pat. You are leader by your executive, you've shown all of us. Thank you, and have a safe one time in Florida, and come on back.
I will. Thank you, Commissioners, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Item 8A is appointments. We've got several
Mr. Chair.
appointments. Item 8A is...
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a comment for
Oh, please,
Pat.
absolutely, sure.
I'm on the list.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't see my list.
I can't let Pat go without saying a few words. Pat, I've known you since well before I got in this seat. I was doing the math, and it's over a decade now, and I was just, mid-20-somethings. But Pat and I had the opportunity to work together, and this is when I met you, when I worked for Candace Miller on a Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home project. The members of Congress were given a pin to hand out to Vietnam veterans, and that's when I met Pat. We organized it, and I was just happy to play a small part in that event. I still talk about that event to this day. It's one of the best things that I've ever been a part of. And Pat and the whole team, the whole board played such a huge role in that. And honestly, I can't say enough about what you've done, Pat, for our veterans, for this county. And you are the person that I think of when I think of service to our county in terms of veteran services. So, Pat, I'm going to miss you terribly. I know you're still going to be around, and when I come down to Florida, I'm going to find you. But thank you so much for everything you've done for this county and our veterans. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Ha.
Thank you, Chair. My old friend, I go back to the days when we opened up that Chapter 154 in Roseville. You have been there every day for all of our veterans, and this county can't thank you enough in what you have done. And your legacy is going to live on with that award. And you can be in Florida or you can be in Michigan, but you always will know the Pat Daniels Award will be here with your name on it. So God bless you.
Anyone else wish to speak? I don't see anyone on the list. Again, congratulations, Pat. Thank you, and many years of continued prosperity. All right. Next item is 7A, Proclamation, 8A, appointments, Macomb Art Institute Authority. These are an appointment by the executive for Kevin Chandler for 1 year, for a partial vacancy. Please vote.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to appoint
Please, yes.
Kevin Chandler.
That's right.
Support 17.
Please vote. All right.
Motion passes 12-0.
Very good, thank you. Item 8B, I need a motion to concur with the Civil Service Commission appointment of the executive of John Glass to be on the Civil
So
Service Commission.
So move, Van Sickle.
Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Okay. Item 8C, need a motion to concur with the Ethics Board appointment of the executive for Betty, Dr. Betty Youngblood.
So moved by Nard.
Support, Van Sickle.
Any discussion on this appointment? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 8D, need a motion to appoint Human Services Board and Social Service Board appointee G. Patrick Thompson for a reappointment.
Motion by Romano to reappoint.
Any discussion on this item? Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Item 8E, Veterans Affairs Commission. We've got multiple appointees for 2 vacancies. Your name will be called and you'll asked to select, vote for 2 names. And so we'll go forward and proceed.
Chair, are we going to vote individually?
Yes, individually, pick your names.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we're going to vote and you're going to call 2 names.
Commissioner Hall,
Wayne, Betty, and Gary Purcell.
Commissioner Kleinfeld,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Kraft,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Matusik,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Nard,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Romano,
Betty and Purcell.
Commissioner Sabatini,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Van Sickle,
Smith and Purcell.
Commissioner Wallace,
Fetty and Purcell.
Commissioner Song,
Fetty and Tolbert.
Commissioner Zinner,
Fetty and Purcell.
Chair Brown.
Fetty and Smith.
So we have a majority for 2. We have 11 votes for Fetty, 9 for Purcell.
All right, very good. Need a motion to appoint those 2 names.
Thank you. So moved, Kleinfeld.
Moved by Commissioner Kleinfeld, supported by Commissioner Nard. Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Very good. Thank you for the new appointees. I look forward to continued service. And those members who applied, who didn't make it on this time around, please stay involved and engaged around the Veterans Affairs Commission. I'm sure they could use help in any way they can, and we'll perhaps consider you under the next appointment. So, thank you very much. Item 9, I need a motion to approve items 9A through E. Oh, for the members of the public and to our Junior Macomb group, we've discussed these items on our agenda previously at previous committee meetings. So we're ratifying action previously taken and debated. So please be advised of that. Item 9, I need a motion to approve items 9A through E.
Motion to approve A through E, Romano.
Support Van Sickle.
Any discussion on these items?
Yes, sir.
Please, go ahead.
I just wanted to expand on what he was saying. So we have a lot of debate in committee, and when we get to full board, you'll see us vote on groups of items that have been heavily debated in committee. And if those that are on the losing side want their vote to stand in at full board, we ask that item to be pulled out for a separate vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld. We've got a motion that's been made and supported. Please vote on it.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Thank you. Item 10, Internal Services Committee recommendations. Need a motion to approve items 10A through J.
So move Van Sickle.
Anyone want to pull any of those items out? Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Item 11, I need a motion to approve items 11A and B.
Motion by Romano to approve A and B.
Any discussion on those items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Item 12, I need a motion to concur in items 12A and B from the Finance and Audit and Budget Committee recommendations.
So move all.
Any discussion on any of those items? Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Item 13, Public Services Committee recommendations. Kat, why don't you explain, there were some questions about this item in the committee about why they were asking for approval for something in the next year's budget. And so, Kat, would you please explain?
And Crystal did send an email about this, and if you have not gotten an opportunity to read it, Department of Roads operates under a September year-end budget. So in August, the board approved a continuing appropriations ordinance, which funded them through the end of our calendar year, since the county's general fund runs off the calendar year. So these two items have been updated to be 2022 and 2023, and that just lines up to the Department of Roads budget, which has already been appropriated for this little section of the year. I'm happy to answer any questions if you do have any.
So this motion is amended to include FY 2022, not 2023. So that we're very clear on that. Thank you. So this motion's been amended to include the language FY 2022 rather than 23, which was in committee. So that's, should correct that. So is there any other discussion on this item? Don't see anybody. Any questions? Oh, Commissioner Song, hello, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for that clarification, Kyle. So this project is, if my understanding is correct, is 2022 through 2023. So it's a year-long project, or it just overlaps with the end of this year, the start of our new?
Since the budget, calendar budget for Department of Roads lasts over 2023 and 2022, it's just the budget 2022 to 2023. Macomb Community Action has some similar programs, just depending on when their fiscal year ends. And theirs just happens to be not in line with the county's general fund.
And then my next question is in regards to this project. I didn't see anywhere here that they had to get in the replacement order this year, if there was any urgency or if they could have waited until 2023 to align with the new adopted budget.
My understanding was that they saw some detections on some of the tests they did around those tanks, and so they wanted to get an order in place to get those replaced as soon as possible. Could it wait till the end of the year? That's everyone's personal opinion, but they chose to push it forward now.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Song. Does anyone else have any questions on this item? I don't see any speakers, so please vote.
Chair, I don't have a motion on this item.
Oh, there's no motion?
No.
Oh, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion for 13A through D.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Song. Appreciate it. Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Okay. Item 13C, cost agreement with Sterling Heights Traffic Control. We need a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion on this item?
So we took A through
Yeah.
D together on the last
Yes.
one.
Did we do A through D?
Oh, okay. No, we didn't. We did. We
We
did.
did, the motion was 13A through D.
Okay, all right, very good. Yeah. All right. 14A, receive and file. Need a motion on that one, please.
I'll make that motion, Chair. 14A and B, if you'd like to take them together.
Thank you.
Matuzik supports.
Okay, please. Any discussion on that one? Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Okay. Item 15, resolutions. Item 15A, I need a motion to adopt item 15A, support for Transportation Alternative Program TAP Grant Fund for Macomb Township.
I'll make the motion, Chair.
Support Kleinfeld.
Any discussion on this item? Please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Thank you. Item 15B, Resolution 2022-9048, urging Oakland County and the state of Michigan to reduce sewage discharges. Is there any discussion on this item?
I do, Chair.
Please, Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to watch Channel 4 as the full story was there. They had the Oakland County Drain Commissioner on there. He didn't quite agree with the verbiage in the resolution, just so everybody knows. So this dialogue is definitely going to be ongoing. So just heads up. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 0.
Thank you. Item 16 is public participation. This is a second opportunity for anyone from the public that wish to be heard on any subject. Anyone from the public wish to be heard on any subject, get up to 3 minutes. Anybody from, please step forward. State your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Excellent. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Brian Harrison with AdvisaCare Home Health Care. I'm based in Rockford, but we do work and serve those in Macomb County. It's great to be here again on another beautiful fall month. Wanted to give an update as it relates to auto insurance reform and specifically home health care and the challenges and the needs of still families in our state. As many of you probably have seen, this is now a debate issue as it relates to the race for governor. We do believe that the 2019 lawsuit that is now in front of the Supreme Court to be heard in March of 23 is likely to help those 18,000 or so patients and families who have been somewhat cast aside by the Michigan legislature to date. And so now we come to you, or I'm coming to you before you today as more of a consumer advocate and a consumer protection advocate, because as the way the law is written, we are still unable as a home care entity to provide services for families after an auto accident, regardless of the level of coverage that they so choose. The 55% of or 45% reduction in our billing rates, which were fair and reasonable and market surveyed rates, has made it impossible to provide care in today's day. We are working with House and Senate leadership and members of the legislature currently to address this, and we believe it to be, again, an even smaller fix because we're not thinking about those 20,000 or so that have been injured previously. It's our hope that this board will continue and be open to adopting a resolution. There are currently now 40 counties across the state. Yesterday, Newaygo County passed their county resolution to become the 40th county across Michigan to adopt and urge the state to amend this so that these challenges do not fall on the backs of the taxpayers under Medicaid. We hope within the next month, passing of the election, we'll be able to join one of your committees and discuss this more openly on a question-answer basis and potentially put to rest maybe any misguided information that could have been shared from the insurance industry of the challenges that are before Michigan. Again, I want to thank you all for your commitment to public service. I jokingly say before I started advocating in February of 2021, the only thing I knew about politics was the commercials we saw on TV, and Lord knows we can believe about half of those. So I do want to thank you all for your time and your commitment to your county and the work you do. Again, over the last year and a half, I've probably been to over 100 county board meetings, and I do value the work that each of you do. And again, I appreciate that insight and awareness, so thank you. Again, we hope to be in the next committee meeting coming up and look forward to making Macomb County at least 41 or 42 counties that are adopting this resolution and urging the state to take care of these people that are now selecting the coverage that they hoped to use should they need it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else under public participation? Anyone else like to be heard? Any subject, you have 3 minutes.
Hello. My name is
Hello.
Krista Rolando, and I live in Ortonville, but I work here in Macomb County, and I work for Relivar Home Care. And I'm asking you to approve a resolution for the auto no-fault, the no-fault reform. And I wanted to talk to you specifically about a client that I have worked with. She lived in Macomb County. She was a paraplegic. She was injured in an auto accident, and she had 24-hour care for the last 20 years in her home. She, since the reform has taken place, has been moved to a nursing home and no longer knows what kind of care she will receive every single day. Her family didn't tell her that she was moving into a nursing home because it was too hard to handle. And I'm just asking you to think about that situation, because it's only one situation over 18,000 people. And it keeps me up every night, so I'm just wondering if it will keep you up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good afternoon, I'm Jason Groth. I'm also up here looking for you to file a resolution, just like the two prior speakers. I'm not as smooth as Brian, so I will be reading it so I don't miss any of my points. My name is Jason Groth. I'm a lifelong resident of Macomb County and co-owner of First Call Home Health Care in Clinton Township off of Starks Drive. Prior to the 2019 auto reform, our company employed over 200 people and had over 55 catastrophically injured patients that we serviced. Many of them right here in Macomb County. One small section of Public Act 21 has devastated our business and the community we serve. We laid off most of our employees and discharged most of our auto patients at this time in May. I'm here today to ask that the board simply do one thing, and that's to recognize a problem, that a problem exists. In the most recent governor's debate, Governor Whitmer and Tudor Dixon both recognized that there was an issue. Over half of the Board of Commissioners in the state of Michigan have recognized that there is an issue. There have been over 800 news stories bringing light to this crisis, many of them national news stories. This is a problem that affects many people in Macomb County currently, and we're asking you to file a resolution recognizing that there is an issue. Thank you, Jason Groth.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Misty Delgado. I'm the owner of Relivar Home Care. Been a lifelong, resident here as well. My office is out in Utica. And last time I was up, we were talking about the auto no fault, and there was one of the commissioners who had mentioned that they felt that our health insurance would cover us in the case of an accident. And I'm up here to tell you that that is not the case. You can take it from all of us. We are in the industry day in and day out. Your health care coverage is not going to cover you in the case of a car accident. I have people call me all the time asking for care. A new case recently, we had 4 of them this week. One was 2 elderly couples that were in a car accident, and they just needed 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. A lot of times after an initial accident, you need a little bit of support when you come home, but we're not able to provide that for them. So I know the case manager was very frustrated with what that looked like for them, because again, they have to either stay in the hospital or they're going to a skilled nursing facility, or they have to pay out of pocket. So you say, what does healthcare cover? Well, your healthcare cover is going to cover only skilled nursing visits, maybe 3 times a week for 3 to 6 weeks. Those visits are going to last about 50 minutes each. They might send in PT and OT, depending on what your needs are, and they might send in an aide 3 times a week to assist with a shower. That's going to be about 50 minutes. That typically really isn't sufficient for somebody that's been in a car accident, and especially if it's been a catastrophic car accident where you're a quadriplegic or a paraplegic. You have multiple other issues that you're dealing with. So what's happening with those people today? Well, if they go home family is stuck providing that care, or friends, or they're struggling, or they stay in a skilled nursing facility, and they're going to pay out of pocket until they have no funds left, and then they get to go on Medicaid. It's not really a great way to end from a car accident. So again, I am as well trying to just keep it top of mind for you. All we're asking you to do is pass that resolution and help support what we think is the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard under public participation?
Hi, my name is Donna Jones, and I've been here before, and I'm also here for the auto no fault. I am here differently because I am a mother of a survivor. I've been here about 3 times asking for your help, and I never had a chance to really bring my son here, but I want to introduce you to him. This is my son before the accident, and his name is Brad. He's 19 years old at this time. He was all athletic. He was in baseball, football, hockey, just starting his life. Went to college at Oakland University, made on the baseball team, until a drunk driver hit my son. And now my son is not the same person he was before. He has a closed head injury, and he had 1% to live. He was in the hospital for about 2 years. Then he moved into a group home. And then after he started to recover, Mom started to recover also. And I got strong enough to where I wanted to take care of my son. So I brought him home with me. And throughout the years, Auto No Fault did cover everything possible for lifetime. We are guaranteed lifetime benefits. And lifetime benefits means paying all of his medical bills, his prescriptions, his therapies, for actually paying for a family member to be taking care of him. Now, since the law has changed, and even though we are guaranteed lifetime, is that they took it away from us also. And not only just my son, but for many, many other survivors out there. I'm my son's eyes, his ears, and his mouth. And I'm here to fight for him and others. As a mother and as a parent, I'm sure you'd be up here too. And I pray to God every single day to fix this, because we only have one life to live. A life that I never expected to happen. This is the life that I was expecting my son to live. But now this is his life right now. And I beg to you to do your homework, to really call your insurance company and ask them, what is lifetime benefits right now? And they would tell
30
you.
seconds.
Okay, and they would tell you it's not the same care that it was before, because a lot of things have been taken away from what it was before. And I thank you for your time, and I beg you and pray to really understand what can happen. Could be you leaving this place right now, and could happen. And what would you do? And I'm begging you. Thank you so much for hearing my story.
Thank you. Anyone else want to be heard under public participation?
Hi, I'm Diane Ringler. I also work with Relivar Home Care, and being in the accounting part of it, I have a different perspective, not necessarily the client personally, but I've seen employees lose their jobs. I've seen other healthcare companies go out of business because they can't afford to to continue care for these clients that are so precious to them. They know them personally. Employees that we had for years, we had to let go because there were no cases, because we couldn't keep them. So there's many, many different aspects to the problem, and we are just hoping that you will take them into consideration, pass the resolution, and like he said, just do your homework so that you can find out what's really happening with it. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard under public comment? Anyone else? One more time, anyone else under public comment?
Okay, we'll try again. If you can't hear, raise your hand and let me know. I'm Monica Troniak, like I said before, I'm a resident of Roseville, so good afternoon to our board, all the commissioners. I have a couple things. I'm going to go really fast because I know I only have 3 minutes. The first thing is I watch a lot of videos, and this, I believe, is very rare how many people you have today speaking as the public. And I think one of the reasons is because of the timing of your meetings. So I'm asking that when you schedule your meetings for next year, that you consider moving them to the evening so that people who are working don't have to take the time off of work to come and, present what they have to say and actually hear and be a part of what's happening here with their county. The second thing is, to everybody, and I know you already know, but vote, vote, vote. That's my 3 things. Vote, vote, vote. For myself, I will definitely be voting for Mr. Howe and Ms. Kleinfeld. I have been watching I talk with my hands because I signed. I've been watching Ms. Kleinfeld for many, many years on the board meetings. So much competence. That's what I want to say, competence. So I would vote for you for president, so consider running, please. Mr. Howe, I forget how to pronounce his name, but I've known him for many years on how he supports Roseville. Also, please consider voting for SMART proposal. I know that this commission supported the whole county voting. I'm not sure what it was called. That not being allowed to opt out. One of the concerns I had when I watched that meeting was that one of the commissioners threw out a comment that with the new small bus options, that perhaps a parent might be more interested and feel more comfortable using that service than the large buses. I felt that as a person who rides the bus, very insulting. I heard, you might not remember, but go ahead and look back at the video. I heard some laughter, which might have been like a little nervous laughter. If I were on the commission, I would have addressed that comment that I feel was very rude to the people who use the bus service. But vote, please, to all the people who are watching and everyone here, please vote for SMART. Remember that it is a millage. It is not an increase. It's a continuation of millage. And real quickly, and with my apologies to the folks who are here, I didn't realize they would be speaking on the auto insurance. As a person who is disabled, I advocate for the ADA. My niece is a occupational therapist in long-term care for persons with severely brain injured. Myself, I have a rare neurological disorder. I am expected to be in a wheelchair within 2 years, bedridden within 5, on a ventilator probably if I choose to, and definitely a feeding tube. Now, my view is equitable.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. My view is that it is not equitable for me to pay all my taxes for long-term for people who have injuries from automobile accidents, but yet I will have to personally go on Medicaid because the insurance is not equitable, determining on the causes of disability. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to be heard? One more time, anyone else wish to be heard under public participation? One more final time. Seeing no one, we'll close public participation. Thank you for your comments. Item 17 is commissioner comments. Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Halloween. I just heard the Wayne County Sheriff driving over here saying drive slow, make sure the youngins are carrying something that lights, either one of those brake sticks or a flashlight. And personally, I'd like to thank the chairman for this goodie bag that he put here that I have no idea what's in it, but it looks good. So be safe. Thank you.
Old Paul's house giving out $1 bills to the kids. Giving out dollar bills. Thank you, Harold. That was very generous of you.
Some are passing out pennies. Commissioner Matuzik.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to really recognize and thank this group of folks that have been coming relentlessly every month to advocate for their family members, their clients, their employees, and their small businesses. I admire that you've kept coming, that you've kept your request in focus. I am hopeful that this commission can take up a resolution. We take up resolutions about a whole lot of things. This one, I think, would be a good one that we get to take up in the not too distant future. But I just want to thank you. I know that for many of you, coming and speaking in public was sort of way out of your comfort zone, that you've never done that before. You've done a great job. We need more citizens advocating for the things they believe in. So I really appreciate that. The second thing I wanted to mention, we received today a memo from the director of Martha Teaberry. I hope people really have a chance to read that. I have always found it in those discussions we've had pretty insulting when people say, oh, we have an agreement and it can't possibly be changed. If you enter into an agreement, there has to be a way to amend it and fix it. And I think supporting Martha Teaberry and the families and the patients that receive care there is one of the most important things we can do as county government. These are people that have nowhere else to go. We are the place of last resort. And I would love to see the request from Martha Teaberry, which I think was fairly modest compared to a lot of the other money we spend. I would like to see us figure out a way to fund that. It's been pretty clear from the executive that because he moved that money into the capital improvement fund that we can't touch that money, the ARPA money and the recovery money. I don't know who of all you all entered into that decision with, but it was, in my mind, not a good decision. But if we can't touch the money in the capital improvement plan, we have a lot, I think, way too much money in our rainy day fund, and we should spend it on Martha Teaberry. So I hope people will read the memo that we got. I think it's really critical we think about those patients and what we can do to help them and to get Martha Teaberry on solid financial and structural standing, and then we can all move ahead with that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight at 6 o'clock, Macomb County Community Mental Health is having our second annual Fall Festival at the Administration Office on Hall Road, just east of Romeo Plank. From 6 to 7, we're doing a trunk or treat, and we're collecting new or gently used tents, and we're also collecting clothing to help the homeless. And then at 7-ish, we're starting Hocus Pocus 2. If you want to stick around for a little drive-in movie, they're going to have a giant screen set up. Secondly, I want to welcome Junior Leadership Macomb, and all the parents and the instructors for being here and sitting through this meeting. It's a lot shorter than previous classes have had to sit through. And also, lastly, I'm really excited to add a chapter to my book, sitting next to the future President of the United States. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kraft. The future President of the United States, Commissioner Kleinfeld.
I've actually been joking about that for years because at the pace I'm going, I will be president, but I'll be about 150 years old when I hit that job. So, thank you. I also agree that you should only agree with 50% of the commercials that you see on TV. The catastrophic healthcare issue, or the in-home, is one of the number one phone calls that I get. I get phone calls with regard to this constantly, and I even think that folks in Lansing know that there were unintended consequences for some of their changes. I don't know if it's going to get fixed in lame duck. I would be shocked if it did. But I'm interested in knowing the counties that passed it. I'm interested in looking at that as well. And you know, we all wanted lower auto insurance, but there's always a flip side to everything that when we're making decisions, you know. So also. We had an issue, and I'm not going to talk about what the issue is. I just want to put it on your radar because we did have a closed session. We were hoping to get attorneys together to have a discussion, and we've never gotten an update on that, and I think it's pressing. I think the clock is ticking. So if we could find out if the attorneys are getting together and talking and working it out, and if you're not sure what I'm talking about, I'll remind you.
Oh, he's sure.
He's sure? Okay. Because I think that that's really important. The last thing is with regard to Martha T. I'm confused about something, and I need to be educated on it. Because we did the $300 million bond for OPEB, and my understanding is that $17 million of that is Martha T's. And what I was talking to Kevin about was he's got to pay his share of that. But the whole reason for doing it was investing it, and we're making money on the investments. And does he get a portion of that to offset his cost for OPEB? And keep in mind, if we don't, and Martha T shuts down, all of those responsibilities fall back on the county and cost the county more money than if we do something to help Martha T. And now the request that he has, the other thing I asked him was the 4 point something, or just rounded up to 5 in the memo, $1 million. It's not that he needs the whole thing this year. It's that every year it could be a different board. And so he needs a commitment from the board that he could get like $1 million a year for 5 years if we're willing to do that. And if we just give him the commitment but we don't put it in a restricted fund, the next year the board may very well, it'll be a new board. We know that there's a couple of us that aren't going to be here no matter what, may have a different opinion. And if he's come to rely on that and was expecting it, and then the board has a different opinion, then they're in even bigger trouble. So we've got to make a decision one way or another on it. And I just wanted to put that on your radar. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Kleinfeld. Commissioner Wallace.
Thank you, Chair. First, I love going after Commissioner Matuzak and future Madam President Kleinfeld, because they pretty much take the words out of my mouth. So 100% about the auto reform. I think we do resolutions on a lot of things. And I know sometimes other commissioners will say our resolutions won't do anything, but when they see the state coming together, at least it will open a few eyes. And I think that's a step that we need to take. Martha T. Berry, I think I've said enough about Martha T. Berry over the time, but we have to protect this group of people. This is a vulnerable group of people that we need to make sure are taken care of. And I know, just because Martha T. Berry is in Mount Clemens doesn't mean that's not the reason why I'm going hard for it. It's this group of people that we have to make sure they're depending on us to make sure that they have heat. I think that's minimal. I do want to follow up with something that was brought up over the week, which was internships or co-ops. I have spoken to a few high schools, and if any of you are involved in your local high school, I would reach out to them as well, because many of them have said that they are willing to do co-ops with the county. So their junior and senior students would be able to either work at the county for the first 2 hours or the last 2 hours, and they would get high school credit non-paid. And I think that's instrumental, because if a student can get into the county, they most likely will come back to Macomb County, and that's what we want. That's what we want to see. Like Phil said, welcome to the junior leadership. I just love this program. It opened my daughter's eyes, and I will say that she's already been admitted to 3 out of 7 colleges. So thank you guys for the skills that you have taught her, because it did help, especially in her public speaking, because she would not talk in front of people before. So thank you. And lastly, first of many times I will say this, the parade is coming back, guys. I know how much you love me talking about that, but just a little, put this in your heads. The parade's coming back. I know last time I said it was a block, and we clearly walked further than a block. But get your walking shoes, get your candy. Candy will be on sale soon. Stock up on that so we can meet up, walk in Mount Clemens with Santa. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner
I will
Wallace.
get you guys the date.
Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Well, since Commissioner Matusek, the other commissioners have said what I wanted to say pretty much, I agree. I think we need to take care of Martha Tiberi. You all know that. But the pension alone is going to come back to the county for those workers. That's a huge chunk of money. So that's not going anywhere. And Kevin does all his magic and takes care of things that nobody else could probably figure out. And I think those things, I think we should, if we can find a way to take care of his needs, those financial needs this year, then it'll be done and caught up until there's another catastrophe. But those things, I think, need to be done as soon as possible, just because we don't know what to expect. It's an older building. It needs, like anything else, it needs to be taken care of like everything else. Thanks for putting that all together so well for us, as usual, Commissioner Matusek. And I do appreciate the groups coming here to talk to us again. And it's the end of the year, so we may not expect to get something done near the end of the year, but there's always the beginning of the next year. So don't lose hope. Thank you very much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. I totally support us doing a resolution, as Commissioners Matusek and Zinner have indicated. We need to fix the problem that has been created. I find it outrageous that a state law, can negate a contract between an individual and an insurance company. That's just wrong. But having said that, I've heard a lot of blame thrown at the legislature, and I'll remind everybody, the legislature only writes proposed laws. It's actually the governor who signs them into law. And that's the last step. Just remember that, November 8th. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else that wants to be heard? You know, my voice is, you have to forgive me, my voice is still a little weak, and sometimes it gives out a bit, but, you know, I appreciate your indulgence. I've got a few things I want to add to this after the discussion about the lawyers. They have met. We're going to receive an update this month in the committee meeting, so you can all stand by for that. The Martha Tiberi memo was on all of your desks. That was from Kevin Evans. I encourage you all to look at that. There's two sides to every story, and so I encourage you all to read that. We'll have ongoing discussion about that item. We have a budget that we're reviewing right now, and we decide what goes into the budget and where it goes. So your your policy wishes are a reflection of the budget that we pass. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. The Winter Parade's coming up. That was a good time last year. Thank you for inviting us last year. I definitely will be there with warm clothes on, and it wasn't that long of a walk, so it was a good time. It was a good time. I want to thank Junior Macomb for being here today, and as Commissioner Kraft alluded to, in the past, some of those meetings weren't quite as, they were a little bit longer than this, and it became an endurance stand for those who came, but appreciate that. And the Commissioner, if you want to hang around, I'm going to chat with them afterwards and hang around. So any of you Commissioners have any additional time, we're going to stay and visit with them a bit after the meeting. And wish you all a safe and happy Halloween. Gave a little treat from Northern Macomb County given the fall season, and so hope you all enjoy that and have a safe and happy Halloween with your children, grandkids, and neighbors. So with that, I need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made and supported. Please vote.